Good evening, everybody.
And good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone around the world.
NOSWEAT. Hope you guys are excited, guys. We're back with episode number 4. I've seen a lot of people jumping on Facebook. We've got people on YouTube as well. Welcome, guys. We've got an amazing podcast coming your way. We've got 3 or 2 gentlemen in here that are with me. I'll go by the name of Themba Madima. With me is
Erwin Schmidt.
And we also got a legend in the building. He goes by the name of Wesley Botton. He's also in the building. Big up, Wesley. Wave to the people.
I think that's the first time anyone's called me a legend.
Well, you've contributed a lot to South African culture, whether it's sport or other forms of writing that you do for newspapers and so on. So, man, you are a legend. We're going to call you a legend because that's what you are. But we've got an amazing show coming up this evening. For those of you who are watching from other parts of the country, welcome. In South Africa, welcome. Anywhere else, welcome. Smitty, you excited about today?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Glad to have our new partner in this, Wesley, and there's a lot of interesting insight. Wesley has been one of the most formidable journalists, especially in the athletic space, called it track and field, cross country. Covers a lot of sports as well. And if you haven't seen one of his articles, you probably haven't been on social media or even interested yourself. So I'm very excited to have him part of the team. And yeah, tonight is another step into, let's call it, the right direction. Yeah, so
absolutely.
Cool, man.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to introduce you to Wesley later on, but let me just hit us with the program. This is how we're going to be running proceedings. We start with the welcome, so welcome everybody. We've done that.
Yeah, welcome. This is interactive, so please share, please talk. I see we got a bunch of people already online. If you got any questions, you got any views, post it in the comments. We would love to get you online, and who knows, we might nominate you to even dial in and be on the show via WhatsApp call a little bit later. But yeah, so exciting stuff.
Yeah, welcome to, I see Morene Botma is in here, Marie Lee Janssen, Van Vieren,
Estian Janssen Van Vieren.
Yeah, welcome guys. Sbusiso Madigizela, Sbu.
Rob Lowe.
He just jumped on right now, so welcome guys. This is NOSWEAT.
Hey, you need to get a new way to say that.
It's gonna stick, I'm telling you, it's gonna stick. Alright, so the program today, as I said, we're gonna touch, the topic for today is 4x400 meter and Wesley Botton.
Yay!
That's almost got a bit of, Wesley Botton, I don't know if everybody caught that one, but it's quite slick. And then we're going to be dealing with this one. It's a very interesting topic. It's world record pandemic. There is a world record pandemic happening. We'll touch on that. I'm not going to say any more than that. And then we're going to discuss some of the articles that Wesley has written, mainly South African team chasing a bag of medals in Tokyo. And then we'll touch on the Olympic Games, some of the action we're looking forward to there, and then we'll play a game called Know Your Records.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be alright.
We're testing Wesley tonight as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
So let's get a bit to Wesley. Wesley, what have you been up to lately? How's life going, especially with the COVID? And yeah, let's touch on that a bit.
It's been a crazy week, eh? Looting, it's freezing, COVID. I'm looking forward to the Olympics though. That should lighten things up a bit, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been tough conditions. We've seen some of the jokes, but it actually isn't a joke, this looting thing, and we hope it blows over pretty quick, and so that we can, as a country, recover from it. Hopefully pretty soon too. But yeah, I think the Olympics, like Wes would say, would lighten things up a bit.
Absolutely. All right, so we might as well get into the first topic. Wesley, you're one of the topics for today, and we wanna just give us a brief introduction of who you are. You are joining the team now, so we're gonna have you here full time. I think you're gonna have some amazing insight that we can share to South Africans, and just for everybody watching, we do give our opinions, we do research as well, but please You know, everybody's got an opinion, and like that's what we said. You can call in, share your opinions. You can type your opinions as well. So this is interactive. It's interactive. Okay, so let's challenge each other to grow the sport. That's cool, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, Wesley, introduce yourself.
My name's Wesley. I'm a sports journalist. I work for the Citizen newspaper. I'm the chief sports writer. So I cover a bit of this and a bit of that, but my favorite sport by a long shot is athletics. Distance running specifically, but a bit of everything really. I like track and field, I like road running, I like cross country. So I'm looking forward to this. This should be fun. I'm glad to be here.
Did you do any running back in your days, Wes?
I did. I wasn't very good. I ran in high school. I did okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I was never committed enough. It's one of the things that I love about the sport is being able to cover athletes who are committed enough. You know, to be able to watch the careers of athletes who commit themselves to such an extent that they're able to compete. Like for example at the Olympic Games. It's inspirational. I like my job.
Absolutely, we love to see it. People know you, Wesley, and if you get to write about somebody, they should be nervous because you cut straight to the point. You challenge, and I mean I think that's what No Sweat is about. You know, we're going to be interactive. It's sweaty topics. I think you've brought the sweat into these No Sweat chats. So yeah, we're looking forward to having you part of the family.
Yeah, good to be here.
All right, so the next topic we're going to be dealing with is the 4x400 meter. So that is something that is obviously exciting. I think it's going to be one of those exciting things.
I see Paul Goyes has joined How's It Paul right at the right time.
Yeah.
Discussing the 4x400. Perhaps you can throw a couple of comments, and if you feel like it, we can dial you in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Big Paul. Obviously, he works well with the athletes, making sure the guys are ready. It's never an easy job putting a relay team together. So that's why we say we share our opinions. We do not select teams. We leave that to the big bosses. But I think it's always good to have conversations. People are interested in track and field, and bringing up these topics just makes it more and more fun and more interactive for the rest of South Africa.
Yeah,
boy. Okay, I'm gonna cover the team. I'm just gonna mention the guys that are in the team that have been selected, and then from there on we can have a discussion. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss who you think should be where, what order, and then let's see what the people also say. So in the team, the 6 people that are selected by right to be in the team based on performance or rankings, we've got the likes of Wade van Niekerk, obviously the fastest man in the team. Sagiti Nene is in there as well. We've got the likes of Tapelo Pora. He's in there. He's looking in good form. So those are the 3 that have qualified to compete in the actual 4x4 event. The 400 straight, I mean. So obviously they will be automatically included into the relay team. And then the other 3, Derek Mukaleng, all the way from the United States of America. We've got Ranti Dihale, the Palaburu Express, and then we've got the youngster Lightning Life Pele. So those are the 6 guys. What do you think of the team? Wesley Botton, I'll start off with you.
Well, it's a strong team. We've got a lot of depth, which is great. I think we're looking at a lot of guys, a whole handful of guys who have run between 45 and 46 seconds. So you've got the depth that you want. You know, with regards to a medal at the Olympics, I think a lot of it would bank on whether or not Wade van Niekerk is willing to run. And at this stage, you know, I think he's going to be battling so much just to get through the rounds, the individual rounds in the 400. I can't see him making himself available. But even without him, I mean, the team did well at the World Relays.
Yeah.
They came 5th. So, and that was without a couple of the guys who could have perhaps been in that team.
Yeah.
So even without Wade, I think that we've got the depth, certainly to make the final. And then, you know, as they always say, especially in a relay, I think once you get into the final, you really do give yourself a chance. So much can go right and wrong, and it's one of the most exciting events at a track and field meeting. So yeah, hopefully the guys do well over there, and hopefully they get into that final.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, if you remember the World Athletics relays, we were in front at a point. We were leading. Oscar Mavundla made a brave move, exciting to watch. I like watching stuff like that. They might say it was a bit too ambitious, but we've got youngsters who are willing to say, you know what, I don't care who I'm running against. I want to go out and fight. Obviously he's not in the final team based on performances recently and how the team was selected. I think this is the strongest team that was selected. But as South Africans, we always give ourselves a shot at the medal. We always believe something can happen. Like you mentioned, top 5. We didn't have our strongest team. Obviously, the USA comes in. That adds a bit more complication. The Jamaicans, I don't know how strong they are. There's a possibility. Derek Mukaleng, if he's in sub 45 shape, Tapelo Porras is powerful. If he can be in sub 45, if Wade Van Niekerk can be in there. But you mentioned a very solid point about the rounds and what he has to overcome in order to run the 400-meter final as well. So we don't know. We leave that at a question mark.
We noted they did select Derek Mukaleng initially, as well as Peter Conradi. So that was two things that we discussed on Tuesday night. I'm actually talking about Oscar Mavunda. All right, him and Peter Conradi. And knowing that Peter was ranked 10th, we did question if he had a spot in this, or if there was place for him. So I think there's a rule for the guys that's participating, the 3, they count as part of the 6 that you can take. And then that's probably, because just from discussions with you, Themba, I saw that they've been excluded. Would you have excluded them? Wes, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think Mavunda has been in pretty good form this year. I think I probably would have kept him in that squad. But again, you're looking at a handful of guys who have been in pretty similar form. So it's difficult to choose. Peter Conradi, I don't know. I do agree with going with the guys who are in form. And this year, he perhaps hasn't been as quick as the other guys. He comes with experience, which helps. Especially in a relay at that level, it does help to have experience. And it helps having that extra experienced guy, especially in the heats, even if he doesn't compete in the final. But I don't know if I would have selected Conradi in the first place, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's been taken out.
And that's probably a tough one, being announced in the team officially as well. I think that was part of the South announcement on SABC, and then being taken out right at the last minute. That does take a knock, because I can believe you're pretty excited getting into the squad. So I feel for him if he's taken out. But yeah, I also feel the same, that I don't think he should have been selected in the first place. Yeah. Then the question, and I can see some questions popping up here. Wade, rather see him run the 4x1 than the 4x4. Question, your thoughts on that, Wes?
I don't know if it's necessary, to be honest. Wade, we don't really know what kind of shape he's going to be in over 3 rounds of 400 meters, but we know that he's quick at the moment. We know that he's got the speed. And usually I would say yes, it would be great to have him in that relay. But I don't know if it's necessary, really. We've got such a strong relay team. I don't think that Paul Goris is going to want to jeopardize a potential medal in the 400 to potentially make the 4x1 a bit stronger with Wade, because I don't think that they really will. I think that we've got enough strong 100-meter specialists, 100-meter, 200-meter runners, that we can do it without him, especially if Akani Simbine is in shape. I think that's key. As long as Simbine is in shape, as long as he's ready for that anchor leg, I think whoever Goris puts in that 4x1, based on the form this year, I think the guys will have a good chance.
Awesome. So then, who would you rather run currently in the 4x1 as I don't want to say it's a replacement for Wade. My thoughts always leans towards Wade actually being in that team, getting through the heats, and then Wade running the final. But some of the fringe guys that come through, and Themba can perhaps touch on that. You've got Clarence Munyai, formidable 200-meter runner. I think his best this year is a 10:23 on the 100. Okay, he was a part of the team that won that national or that World Relays. Who's the other kid?
There's a new kid on the block. He goes by the name of Khaleletsang Ramorwa.
That's right.
From ARB.
10.20.
So the kid is in, it's a big opportunity to get the opportunity to go there. I don't know how they plan on using him. Obviously, it's a tough. A lot of our top runners are running individual events as well. But end of the day, if we get into the final, we've got a chance of definitely medaling. The nice thing about Akani this year is that he's been doing more 200s. If you watched the last competition he ran at 20.25, coming from behind and storming for the victory after the 9.84. So that's impressive, which means they're ready for rounds. They're ready to run rounds. So if he has to add an extra 4x100 meter, he'll be able to handle it. If you look at the likes of Patuchezo Maswanganye, same thing. He runs at a championship, he'll run the NCAA championship, he'll run relays, rounds, heat and final. He runs 3 rounds of 100s and he runs 3 rounds of 200s. So that's depth, you know what I mean? So if they need the strongest guys, it's not a matter of being afraid of them handling the rounds. They can do it. They can all. I still
want to get back to the question. Maybe Wesley, you can touch on that. Who would you put in that 4x4, that one open? So we got Gift, Maswanyangi, and Zambine. And then who would be the fourth?
4x1.
4x1.
Yeah, it is difficult. I think I would probably pick somebody who can run a strong bend, maybe put them on that top bend just before the anchor leg. And I think Clarence Munya has kind of earned his spot there. A bit of a controversial athlete. He's not always in his best form. He's not always very consistent. But I think if an athlete earns their spot, then they earn their spot. He's not the only choice. Anaso Jobodwana has been in decent form this year. He could run that top bend. And then, if someone like Wade was available, you could put him on the top bend, and then you would have to put somebody else on the back straight on that first leg. So it all depends on whether or not Wade is going to make himself available. But again, I don't see that happening.
I think for me personally, if I can just add maybe before you take over, I'll definitely put Clarence Munyai top. If Wade is unavailable, like I said, like Wesley mentioned, I would definitely want to put Clarence Munyai to hand over to Akani. It's worked every time that they've used it. It's broken SA records, it's broken African records. It does the job, So my money would be, that's the 4. Definitely Clarence Munyai top right, Akani anchor. I'd give Gift back straight, Patuchezo start. That's the 4.
We got Cecilia van Bersijn, Akani, Chetso, and Gift, and Clarence can do it. So they're agreeing with you, Wes. So my opinion, the start still stays the same. Instead of saying, okay, we can medal, I want to see us win gold, go for that, and then shocking the world. So I would start off with Sean Maswanyangi, Gift Leo Tlela, Wade Vanica, Gift Leo Tlela on the bend, and then Akani Zambine on the final stretch. That's what I think.
Definitely good choice. 4x4. Nobody said anything about the 4x4.
It's a difficult one.
Let me pick mine.
Gonna go? Okay, pick yours.
Let me pick mine. We'll get to it. I'm telling you, I've got the formula, guys. I've got the formula. But I trust in Paul. We trust.
Okay, cool.
Madima, this is what I think would work. All right, we start off with Tapelo Bora. The guy's solid. He's consistent. He's got his race strategy on. If you look at the previous relays where he ran the fastest opening leg. That says a lot. Okay. Second, I need to hand over to somebody I can trust again. I've got options. Zagiti Nene. Zagiti Nene is solid. He is obviously consistent. He knows the relays. He's been at World Athletics relays, so he's got the experience. He was even at the World Cup where they medaled, but there was a bit of a problem, so they lost that. So he's been part of that as well. He probably has a point to prove. So I definitely put him. He's gonna clock a 45 low, if not a 44 high, with a handover. And then we've got Lightning, the young boy. He runs like an experienced campaigner. Recently ran a 45.9, the last competition he ran. So he's breaking.
Wrong button.
Yeah. But he's back.
I was waiting for you to say Precious is joining.
So Lightning Pillay, the boy is lightning fast. I'd put him in third leg. And if Veneker is not available, like Wes said, then Rante Dikhale is a strong anchor.
Yeah.
Every time he's anchored the team,
The Palaborva Express.
The Palaborva Express. I know we can trust him, but then again, the team can also change, So that's,
Who's he currently training with?
He trains with Nico van Heerden.
Nico van Heerden.
Him and Tapelopora. So these are teammates that work well together. I'm not nothing against. I just don't know what form Derek is in. But I would have put my money on him first. I just haven't seen. I know he hasn't raced in a while in America. I've been trying to see when last he competed. It's been a while.
He competed last at Nationals in America. So that was around about April, May. And then there isn't many opportunities unless you go to Europe. But he's probably got some student athlete, when I say some studies also that he had to catch up on too.
Let me check when last he ran while you guys are chatting.
And then Wes, you're up.
Mokaleng is a phenomenal talent. It's difficult to leave him out, but it is difficult to put him in if you don't really know what shape he's in. I'm sure that management, I'm sure Paul Horis would have been in touch with his coach. I'm sure he knows what kind of shape he's in and whether or not he's going to be ready. But yeah, I think the guys that you named already, it's a strong team. With or without Mokaleng, I think it's a strong side. So, yeah, I don't know. It's possible because he's based in the States. We don't really know anything. It's possible that he's been struggling with an injury or something, and we're just not aware of it. So I don't know. It's a difficult one.
I would think if he struggled with an injury, with them selecting any one of the other two, we just said Peter Conradi and Oscar Mavunla. If there was any sign of injury, they would have left them out.
No, I think he's healthy. We just don't know what form he's in. If I check here, if I look at his results, the last 400 meter he ran was on the 29th of May. He ran a 46.31. He has ran a fastest time this year of 45.36. So like I said, I do trust him. He is probably the faster of the most of the guys that ran, but the last two races he ran 46.2, 46.3. I would risk it if I knew if he had in a race June, July, I know, and he can do it. It's just that's why like I said, I'm glad I don't have to select the teams. I selected what I think could work, but like you said, Paul Horis will have more insight. He's speaking to the guys. He knows what form they're in. I know some of the guys will be testing their legs a bit tomorrow at Tux with some of the junior athletes. So from there on, Paul Horis will know exactly what type of shape he's got and who we can rely on and so on. But the guys are healthy, which is very good. And yeah, we've got a strong team either way.
Okay, great. Right, I guess we move on to the next topic.
Yeah, this is an interesting topic.
Yeah, the fun one.
I think this is, I know Wesley, I know you would agree with me. I call this one the world record pandemic. World record pandemic. Strong words, I understand. With
pandemic.
Yeah. It's a bit strong, I agree, but let's look at the world records over the past year or two. The most, I would say, you know what I mean, this is just a thesis, we throw it out there, that technology has played probably the most biggest, has been the most biggest factor in these records falling. To say guys are not fast or training hard, whatever. Maybe you guys might disagree. If you look at anything from the sub 2 hour, we've got cars, we've got lights, there's beams, there's, it's no more that natural, or, it's so controlled, controlled performances. The shoes are phenomenal. If you don't believe it, put on those shoes and run, it changes everything. And everybody who has put on those shoes has either ran a personal best or some phenomenal, fantastic time. Okay, then there's lights. If you look at the track, on the stadium while they're running, there's lights. Lights are telling you this is the pace you should be running. Slow down, speed up. That changes. I mean, if you look at what else? If you look at swimming, for instance, there was the time where the records were just tumbling. You'll add on that, Smitty. The suit, that swimsuit, everything in that swimsuit was world record, national record. That's it. Nothing else. You know,
Yeah.
I exaggerate a bit, but I mean, it's that big of a difference. They had to even scrap the suits. Do we need to scrap some of this technology? I don't know.
I don't think you necessarily need to scratch anything. So if you creating gear, so for instance, let's say take cricket, so let's wash our brains with that. I'm going to explain to you in a second. We wash our brain with that, and even with rugby to an extent too. Cricket, what are you using the most in cricket? The most important thing that all teams require?
Oh, it's the shoes, I would say.
No, okay. Didn't play
I don't play cricket, yeah. I would say the ball, but
No, it is a cricket ball.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't bat without a ball being tossed. You can't bowl. You can't field. You literally can't do anything. So Kookaburra, they've been the sponsor of the ICC forever, but they've got a phenomenal ball. The technology with that is super consistent. It lasts. It's all the requirements that you require to play. It lasts a set amount of overs. There's a one-day ball. It's the right colors. But that is considered the ball, all right? And over time, technology will better, and what they want out of it is very, like I said, very specific in terms of overs. So if you're a runner, basically the only gear besides your body that you are using, okay, a clock or a watch as well, to tell you how quick you're running if you're running by yourself, is your shoes. So if there's innovation in that'll help you run faster, as long as it's not mechanically driven where you literally plug it in with the electricity, I would believe that's fine. All right, unless if you literally want to argue that, then go run barefoot if you want everyone on the same page. That's my thoughts around that. And then with the suits, the swimming suits, so there's an aerodynamic part of it. These guys getting into that suits in the first place. I worked for Arena. That's a super tight suit. Some of these suits only last about 20 swims, or I think it's even less now. Yeah, the chemicals in the water actually starts biodegrading or degrading the suits, and they don't have seams. It's very tight, very light. It really propels you through the water. But that is then available to all athletes. You can choose what you run with.
No, but
Right. If there's development in technologies, you can. If it's available, if it's not available, I have a problem. Right. If you're just saying Nike has it, or only Australia plays with a cricket ball, or one team bowls with a kookaburra, that cricket ball, and the other team has to settle for Grand Eagles, but it's not the same, then there's no consistency in it. But if it's available to all athletes, they can choose what they run with. And they can choose what they swim with as well. So I'm pro technology that really propels people. So that's my thoughts around that. Yours, Wesley?
Yeah, we'll always have technology in sport, and the more they learn, the easier it kind of gets. If you look back, for example, at the running shoes that they were using in the sort of 1970s and 80s, that you would be shocked.
shocking.
Yeah, no cushioning, and they hadn't done as much research as they've done now. But like Smitty says, I think for me it's about whether or not it's fair. As long as everybody has access to the shoes, then I think it's fair. But does everybody have access? They're quite expensive. I think if they're running the New York Marathon, I think everyone in an elite field has got the resources and the sponsors to be able to ensure that they've got whatever the best technology is. But if you look domestically at, say, the Soweto Marathon, how many of those athletes in the elite field are going to have these super shoes, and how many of them are not? And those who don't are at a significant disadvantage. So that's the only issue for me. As long as everybody has access, I think it's fine. I think that the problem at the moment is probably that everybody doesn't have access yet.
I would also say, I mean, we can say everybody's got access, but I mean, if I run for Nike, for instance, or I run for Adidas, and it happens, let's look at Formula One. It's a big debate. Like, why are the cars not getting faster and faster? You have to cap some. They can get faster. It can get a bit more dangerous. It can get. There just has to be some point where you're like, whoa, guys, let's regulate a bit. The swimsuit was, this is my opinion, was also one of those where they had to say, okay. We see the technology is amazing, but how do we regulate it? And you hear it. I mean, you hear the likes of Roland Schoeman complaining. He's like, man, if I'm not in that suit, I'm not sponsored by it. I know going into a race against this guy is going to kill me. You know, that's the reality. Nike came out first with amazing shoe. I mean, that's brilliant, you know. Everybody else started catching up a bit later. The Spike even technology in the Nike shoes are phenomenal. There aren't many guys who are with them at this point, but the guys are slowly catching up. So I don't know. Do we cap it?
So what you're saying, okay, you're an athlete, or you're sponsored by Nike, you have to run in Nike, and the other guys are sponsored by ASICS, they need to run in ASICS. Okay, cool. In the same way, if you're a national body and you're sponsored by Arena, or you're sponsored by Speedo, who's their competition, you have to compete as an athlete in whatever they put forth. Okay, so I understand that. But isn't that then the beauty of endorsement? Where you as an athlete don't just accept the first offer that comes to mind, or the first offer that's being put down. Where if you believe you sign in with, for instance, an ASICS would give you a disadvantage because you don't have access to Nike, you can make a constant decision of who you would endorse.
It's tricky.
And the same with a union or a body or.
Yeah, but with that, I mean, we don't decide. You'll never decide who ASA is, which sponsor is going to be at ASA.
Because it comes down to the money.
So it will always be an open. The union is not going to go. Or the union won't go and say we're going to take this because it's got the fastest suit. They're going to say who's giving us the better finances towards whatever we're trying to build. That's a fact, because.
It is a fact, but I believe then technology should be a factor in that as well, carry a major weight with your argument.
Absolutely, but my opinion, I say it must be regulated, or they must find a way to cap it. Because with the shoes, you can simply say the stack. You know, the stack. The stack on the shoes are becoming higher and higher, which gives more bounce, more response. Can we cap it and say, listen, guys, let's keep it at 5 millimeters, 2 millimeters? This is the standard. They're doing it with the engines in the Formula One. I mean, you can put rockets in there, but it's not allowed. Why is it not allowed? You know, what is the limitations? I'm not saying I've got the answer. I'm just saying maybe they must look into regulating it. Then there's lights on the stadium. That takes away natural feel. Having pace setters who have pace setters. That's what's happening as well. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I don't understand technology too much.
No, I think you got a point, and that's the actual argument around. Then Wes can touch on it if he wants to. Is that there's two different views, and then there's many inputs. But as a call it as a Nike or Adidas or whoever, you want to give the best to your athletes to propel them forward. That's the main point of how you exist. The spike, in the first place, wasn't developed or created in the first place to how can I say, to just give everyone a fair advantage. It was to give that person that's running in that spike a better advantage, the best shoe to help them run quicker with grip underneath. I might have said it a bit wrong, but that's how the spike started up. Grip on field versus running barefoot.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at spike as well, you can't have a 9 or a 10 millimeter spike. I know that is one of the regulations.
Yeah, so it gets regulated to that. Obviously, you can't have mechanics in a running shoe, but they've gone within their spec to create a shoe, and that's the big thing, and why this still exists within what defines a running shoe, and within spec, they've created a shoe that you are allowed to run with.
I think it just developed way too quickly, too quick for it to be regulated, because it just happened overnight. This shoe just boom, like what is going on? And by the time everybody started catching up, then everybody decided, let's stack on, add more stack onto the shoe. Let's see how far can we push it. We don't know. There's no limit to how far they can push it. Next is springs. They can put springs in there. Nobody will argue. Why not? Air cushioning. What do they call those things? Yeah, they can put in almost anything to make sure that.
What about a set of airbags if somebody trips and you fall?
You know, people are gonna have floaters, so that when they jump over these people, they don't land face first anymore.
Yeah, so you don't land face first. Firstly, you're floating in a type of lifeboat. You make it out of that water without a drip of H2O on your body, and you can just get up and continue your run as if nothing happened.
Oh my word. Stop it!
Or fall and get up. It's a type of device. If you get tripped and you fall, it actually propels you forward, so you don't, and lands you on your feet, so that you don't lose any distance on it.
Stop it.
I think they should put rocket boosters in there. But it should be a standard thing. If you want to run, you have to have rocket boosters in your shoes. That would make it more interesting.
It would be so fun. But, let's stop right there. Stop it.
That would be actually, it's if that technology is available, well, I'm not saying no rockets now, but that would actually be interesting. How fast you can run if the shoes really gave you one massive advantage. Like you've gone outside of the boundaries of creating what's legally defined as a shoe that you're allowed to race with. How quick that can make you run.
You had a statement from Usain Bolt. Before, I know Wesley wanted to say something. There's an article that was written. Usain Bolt says, I would have run under 9.5 seconds with super spikes. So this is the fastest man alive also saying, hey, what's happening here, you know? Maybe I would have ran even broken the record to further if I had super spikes. I don't know. Maybe Bolt thinks like me. Wes?
There does have to be a line, because at a point, I mean, if you put wheels on shoes, then you're not running anymore, right? then it's motor racing, I guess. So there has to be some regulation. But I think Smitty's right in the sense that as long as there's regulations that make sense, and as long as they're sticking within those regulations, that's fair. It just depends. Are those regulations that they're making, are they there for the athletes? Are they there for the manufacturers? Like you guys touched on, a lot of it's got to do with money. So I don't know.
I think it just happened too fast. That's all I'm saying.
We've got a comment from James Majenga. He says, but at Themba, I think drawing a line limits human innovation in the IMO. Every brand should do whatever it takes to keep up, and as the guy said, that's me, as long as there's no electricity used to charge the shoe, it's okay.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, guys, I'm not anti-technology. Technology has been phenomenal. I just say, if other sports are doing it, we need to do it. It's been done in Formula 1, it's been done in the swimming pool, then it has to be done in athletics. Because the stack of the shoes was one of the biggest talking points as well, you know. Is there a limit on the stack, Wesley? I don't know. From what I know, I don't know. But I mean, you know, I think they should just be, the regulations must also advance as technology advances, because that's what's going to happen. Technology usually advances faster than regulations.
Cool. Right, I rest my case. let's adjourn this to after the Olympics.
Okay, cool.
No. Okay, you're right. Cool.
But there's a pandemic. There's a world record pandemic, guys. The records are falling, they're tumbling. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so obviously that one is adjourned. So next topic that we want to touch on, I think Olympic Games, it's going to be so different. There's the whole crowd factor. You know, I always get it's so irritating because you watch, I don't know if you watch a bit of the soccer, there's 68,000 people in the stadium. These guys are hugging, high-fiving, singing in each other's faces. And here comes track and field in Japan, probably one of the most technologically advanced countries, and no spectators. Even. What a guan.
It's going to change everything, eh? The games just isn't going to have that atmosphere.
What's happening, Wes?
I don't know. It was disappointing when we found out that there weren't going to be any foreign spectators. Aside from the fact that affects the organisers so much, not having that tourism that they were expecting.
Yeah.
And then to say that no local spectators are allowed, it's just, I think that there was a point where I really thought that they should have just called these games off. But honestly, the troubles that we've been through the last few weeks, months, I'm glad it's going ahead.
Yeah, we need it.
I really am looking forward to it, but it's not going to be the same. It's going to be very different. Empty stadiums, and what's it going to be like for the guy who wins the woman who won the 100-meter sprint finals in front of no one?
It'll sound like this, though. Well done, well done, well done.
If that.
Well done, well done, well done.
It's going to be very strange.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It bothers my mind, because I don't understand, Europe has got it on lock, What are they doing differently? Shouldn't have Japan applied the same standards or methods to have 68,000 people in the stadiums, or maybe just for the finals, not the heats and stuff? Something, give us something.
No, I think it's too risky, Thames. Just remember, you got people that travelled from all around the world. And because this is a multiple day show, let's put it that way, people are participating in multiple days. If you fill that with crowds on multiple days and one has got the virus, you actually expose it to everyone. If this was held on one day, right, you might walk away with COVID afterwards, but that's one and done. But even that's still risky. So you definitely can't have anyone anyone actually in the crowd.
Yeah, it's true. I hear you, and I mean I'm pro-life. I would say I just don't understand how they got it right at the Euros, because you've got 68,000. How do you control that one guy is not? And I mean I don't know. Maybe I haven't been reading the news well. I haven't heard of outbursts or outbreaks are coming from it, because they wouldn't have filled up every game and finals to almost capacity, not even 50%, I mean, but yeah, maybe that's just how I feel, but that's one part of it, obviously. And then there's the athletes. At least we've had a lot of experience with athletes running in empty stadiums, and I personally ran in a lot of empty stadiums as well. And the thing is, just having your competitor next to you, man, that's enough. And knowing there's a camera on you and people are watching for a performance animal, I think, that won't get in Akani Simbini's way of winning. He won't say, I didn't win because there was no people in the crowds. That's how these guys are built. But I just think for the overall experience, it's gonna be different. Let's just admit it. It's gonna be different.
It's going to be good, so
yeah, of course.
Everyone's going to have to compete, and it's about the medal at the end of the day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Virtual media rooms. Hopefully we can have some virtual supporting behind that too.
Yeah.
What's his name from? It's Matthew Quinn that does or helps out with the PR. It's not the Matthew from South Africa. I think it's from Sport.
Yes.
He was talking about some virtual media rooms that you can tap into. So we'll see some cool content coming from that, and hopefully that brings some kind of excitement after the race. And I know the victory lap won't quite be the victory lap. Wes?
Yeah, they're going to have to do some unique things, I think, just to keep people interested, engaged. They've tried it with different sports. Like you were saying, they've had a lot of success with football and rugby, and they've managed to kind of get on with things, but this is a one-off. I think they're just scared that so much can go wrong, and they don't know. Like you said, you're bringing people from around the world in different sports codes. People who don't even usually interact with each other suddenly are, and they're living together in a village. I think they're just being precautionary, I suppose. Yeah. It's interesting that you said that it probably won't affect the athletes. You might be right, because the performances when they have competed in closed stadiums haven't been any worse. So I think you're right there. Maybe the performances won't be affected, but maybe just from a spectator point of view, just very different.
I think to lose without spectators, I think more people are watching. There's always more people watching when Akani is in that final. I won't be surprised if it's probably the most viewed 100-meter final digitally, definitely in the history of 100-meter sprints. And we've had Usain Bolt. That would be a cool stat to look out for after these, because end of the day, the Olympic 100-meter final is usually one of the most watched events.
You can only fill up the stadium anyway with that many people, so they're all sitting at home, whoever would have been there. Mm-hmm. If it doubles up, or if there's an increase in the watch rate from the best Olympics, whichever one can be, whatever the viewership was there, of more than 10%, then you can really say not being there had a massive effect. But that would also then be an indication of how well the PR was done on the event, driving out the spaces where people can get access to the content and watch it, and how well they digitally driven that. That'll be a measurement of success.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
What's next, Thames?
I think with that, let me move on to the next topic. Your article.
I saw a comment coming through.
We're going to touch on. Yeah, you can deal with the comments.
They say the one sport, and this is from Red Gecko Productions. It seems like a comment. They're saying the long jumpers and high jumpers have it worse. They need those claps from the crowd to really get psyched.
Man. You know those claps?
Yeah, you might be right there. But again, they might be used to it by now. Anyone who's going to the Olympics hasn't taken the last year off.
Yeah.
So when they've had the opportunity to compete, they have. And we've seen it here. We've had South African meetings where there's just no one in the crowd.
Yeah.
A few coaches and some media watching. And there's none of that clapping, there's none of that psyching up. But then, one thing to take into consideration is that everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
So even though our guys are probably, they might struggle to hit their best in, for example, the long jump, hopefully everybody does. So it balances it out in the end.
Absolutely. Like I said, once you get on that line, when that gun goes off, man, it's just instinct. Can you run a 982, wind aided or not? In an empty SA Championship stadium, like a few officials here, there. It's celebrated. The world is watching. As soon as that video dropped, the whole world taps into it. And I think in that light, the performances will be. I don't doubt performances. I just personally, it would have been nice to have that Euro replication in Japan, but you don't risk lives ever. For entertainment. Are you not entertained?
Yeah, we said that a couple of times.
Alright, so we were moving on to the next one, the next topic, and then we will wrap it up with the game. So obviously, Wesley, you've written a few interesting topics. One was about Precious Mashele, but the most recent one is the one which is about, let me see if I can pick it up here quickly. It is about the South African team chasing a bag of medals in Tokyo. What is the thinking behind that? What inspired that?
I think it's normal for us to predict just before the Olympics, how many medals we might get. It was a difficult article to write, I think, because this is even more challenging in terms of predicting things, because we haven't had a normal build-up to these Olympics. And there's so many question marks over some of our athletes. It's difficult. So it could be an excellent games from a track and field perspective. We could come home with a few medals. Could be terrible. We could come home with nothing. Hopefully not. But yeah, it's interesting to talk about, at least in advance, who we might think could get a medal.
Let's do this, Wesley. Who do you think might? You've obviously written the article, but now I wanna just let's put it in stone. How many medals, Wesley, are we bringing back on the track, and who is it?
So I think a lot of it's going to rest on Akani Simbine, the form that he's in, and he's in excellent form. So as long as he gets there fit and healthy, which he should, you can't. The 100-meter is such a difficult one because anything goes wrong in that race, and that's the end of it. And he's got to get it right in the heats. He's got to do it again in the semis. He's got to get it right in the final. But he's proved it over and over again. He's consistent. He's probably the most consistent 100-meter sprinter on the planet. He's one of the quickest at the moment. So it's not the kind of event where you want to say we've got a medal in the bag, but in terms of 100-meter sprinting, Akani Simbine is about as close as we're going to get to a guaranteed medal. So hoping there, and then hoping that he'll do something or will help anchor that 4x1 team. They've got the depth, they've got the quality, they've definitely got a good chance. They've been practicing, so hopefully they get those handovers right. And then the rest, I don't know, it's so difficult, man. Ruswal Samai's got the experience. He's a world-class long jumper. And I think we can always bank on him to give himself a chance, but hasn't been in his best shape it's been a dodgy couple of years, but he hasn't been at his best for a couple of years, and he's going to need to get a big jump out there. I think some of the other long jumpers are in good form. They're showing 840, 850 form, so he's going to have to get up there if he wants a medal. He's got the experience though, so it's possible, but I don't know. And then same sort of thing with Wade van Niekerk. He's got the experience. He's in form. We haven't seen him run a lot of 400s though, and we don't know if he's going to get through rounds and then still be in great shape for the final. So don't want to write him off. Obviously, he's the world record holder, but again, big question mark there. And then I think, the rest, I don't really see any other medals except for maybe on the road, maybe in the marathon. It's a very unpredictable event, and we have got world-class marathon runners. Stephen Mokorka is incredible. If he has a good run, he could do well. And even one of the other guys, and perhaps Gerda Steyn, they're expecting a lot of humidity. It's not going to be the easiest race. And like we saw at the last World Championships in Doha, when the conditions are not great, the East Africans do struggle. They struggle a lot, and it kind of throws the bag wide open. And then anybody who's gutsy enough and is willing to sort of tough it out can put themselves in with a chance. And that's exactly the kind of thing that Gerda Steyn thrives on. So if it's a tough race, if it's really, really difficult and people are bailing, I think Gerda Steyn might have a chance as well. But it's such an outside shot, especially in the marathon. I think in terms of medals, we're probably safer looking at the track.
How many ways?
2. I don't want to say it, but 2, man. I think the rest are just kind of on the edge. I think we can bank on Akani Simbine, and I think we can bank on Wade van Niekerk. And I just think that the 4x1 relay is too much can go wrong. There's too many issues there, too many things that you don't want to bank on a medal there, even though we really do have a good chance. I think our best chances for medals are probably a Simbine in the 100, van Niekerk in the 400.
Smitty, Erwin Schmidt, what are your predictions at?
It's similar to what Wes said. I do want to throw the 4x1 in there. I think that medal that they ran at the World Relays and beating Brazil, that was the former, let's call it world champs. on the former big stage in Doha, they performed. I think we're going to do well in the 4x100. Remember too, that's they medal contenders. I know a lot can go wrong, and if you hear or listen to the interviews that they've gone through, their focus is getting the baton across the line. They know they can run quick.
Yeah.
So I do want to say there's a medal there. Wade van Niekerk, he's ranked 10th at the moment. I was super surprised when he came back and ran that 100 meter last year at 10:10. So that tells me he's got that leg speed back up from 10:10 to a sub 10 is it's a difficult one, but it's not too far away, especially considering that he wasn't in the best shape when he ran that. The 20.11 that he ran at the Vanti shows as well his body can move that fast. Now, getting through the rounds, if he can get through the first round, and chance has it that it's a 45 second round to qualify, that wouldn't take too much out of his body. Then it's really getting through the next one, which I think is going to require a 44 mid, and then the final anything can happen. But I do believe that he can medal, and then I think our best gold medal contender is Akane Simbine. That I do believe. He's been in phenomenal shape. Wes mentioned he handed Baker a bag of carrots. Right, so Bugs Bunny don't necessarily want to give away the carrots, so he's super quick, and I think he learned also a lot from the false start, and that might have been the best preparation for the final. Going through that and know, okay, well I still need to remain switched on, and it looked at the start almost if he twitched out first, which. Yeah, he didn't break the line at the start, the other guy broke it first, but he was ready to go. He was waiting for that gun. It was a little bit ahead of it. So he just needs to keep that in the final, and that same attitude to get out. He's super quick out of the block. So I think our gold medal contender is him, and then that's pretty much I'd say we're going to bring back 3. I think there's going to be a gold, a silver, and I don't want to predict the 4x100, but a medal there.
So you've got 3 medals.
Yeah.
All right.
You?
Let me give it a go. I personally think there's a medal in the 100 meter, Akane Simbine. The 4x4, there's a medal there.
4x4?
4x1, sorry.
Okay.
Let me start with 4x1. 4x1, there's a medal. 4x4, man. I just can't help but think something might just happen. If these guys, because I mean, if you look at the overall form, besides America is literally, if they get the baton around, they're going to bully. Then there's also...
What, America?
America. Have you seen the American squad? I mean,
what, on the 4x1?
No, 4x4. They can put in Wright Benjamin, they can put in Michael Norman, they can put in Fred Kelly. If he decides to run, he'll probably run the 4x1. I mean, they've got a phenomenal team.
Okay.
For gold, I would, swing towards America. But I mean, top 3, there is a chance for South Africa. I know not many people are giving them a chance. I'll give them a chance for the bronze. Then, if we look at 400 meters, definitely giving Wade van Niekerk a chance for medal there as well. I'll go for gold. Akane Simbine, there's a gold. I don't know if I'm being greedy by wanting a gold, but there's a top 3 for sure. But 100 meter gold, you heard it. I'm saying it, Wesley. I'm not backing out. 100 meter gold, and then Stephen Mukoka. Remember, he's top 5 last championship. He knows how to deal with the conditions. He knows how to deal with the heat. He knows how to deal with these Kenyans and the Ethiopians. He's done it many times. So once again, I'm putting Mukoka in for a medal. TP, please, sir, do this for us. Gerda Steyn, Hervé van Zyl, I don't know. She lives in a very humid country in United Emirates, or is it Doha? I'm not sure. It's not Doha. I know it's United Emirates or something. It's very humid there. She's got a strong head, man. Red Van Zyl is also a warrior. So if they work together, we might see a medal for Zlatan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'll wrap it there. Chelwell Johnson, guys, this kid, man, he can also surprise us if he.
Yeah, but long jump's a weird thing with this new format.
No, that format is only for Diamond League. It's not for the championship.
But in your preparations as well, you want to build confidence.
Yeah,
so
it messes you up.
You've got the longest jump, but you didn't win it. you didn't win it.
Who followed that?
And that's in one sitting. It's not, anyway, you want to build confidence, and I think that's a whole mental type of battle that you're fighting now in long jump as well.
If you watch the last event, the long jump that was in Monaco, the guy from Jamaica, he had the longest jump, he lost. You could see it was like, man, I've got a loss or an L on my name, but I was not beaten. It really messed with them. We won't see that at the Olympics. I know somebody said in the conference room and said, let's make this a bit more complicated for these guys. Let's see how difficult it can be if we mess up the whole system.
It sounds like you're American.
So that's what probably happened. And yeah, so that's me. So I've got a total of 6 medals.
6?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, go for it.
Go big or go home.
All right.
Afrique du Sud.
I'm putting your head in charge of salaries as well.
Alright guys, if I might need some donations next month, you can send those to
6 is optimistic, but it's not insane.
It's not insane.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
Okay, stop it. But I think let's be optimistic if we're gonna do it. You know what I mean? South Africa needs it, man. We need some good news in the country. We need some inspiration, and if these guys can go there inspired, why not 6?
Cool. All right, we're almost getting to the end of the show.
Yeah, we need to.
It's quite fun. We didn't even dig into any video footage.
You wanna do that, and then we got the game also coming up.
Let's get to your game.
You need to stop doing that, man. My family thought I actually leaked last time. Listen, guys, it's a sound effect. It was not me.
Oh, they're probably used to you leaking.
Security, can somebody come get this man, please? All right, so let's move to the game now. The game is called Know Your Records. All right.
No sweat. So we're testing Wesley tonight.
Wesley,
And I think for the next one he comes up with the game. Let's test Themba. He's been doing all the testing. Make it super difficult.
all right, Wesley Botton. This is very easy. It's like handing on a baton. So this is how we're gonna do it. Give you certain events. Very simple. I'm gonna make it easy for you. You need to tell me who owns the record.
Oh my God.
That's it. I'm not even gonna ask you for times or split seconds or anything complicated like that. Get down. So it's gonna be that simple. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. First one. The men. I'm gonna start with men. I'll do 5 and then I'll do 5 for women. So everything here is from 1,000 meter to 10,000. All right. Who owns the 1,000 meter record for men?
Is this the world record or
No,
the South African
These are
record?
all South African records.
The South African 1,000-meter record. It's got to be Mbulaeni Molautsi.
Yeah,
Correct.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Botton, I see you. All right. This one should be easy.
All right.
1,500 meter SA record. Come on, Wes.
Johan Cronje still.
All right, I'm gonna leave the mile. It's too easy. 2,000 meter.
Ooh.
2,000 meter.
That's got to be no. Johan's probably got the mile as well.
Correct.
I think the 2,000 meters probably been held for a long time.
How long was it?
Since like the 80s.
Mm.
I'm gonna say. Johann Landsman. But that's not right.
The correct answer, Wesley, is Johann Fourie. You had the last part right. You were close. I see.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It got something to do with the mile. The Dream Miler.
So Johann Fourie did that one?
Hey, Henry, McCartney also got that right.
Yeah, big up. Henry nice. Student.
Yeah.
Next one. This one should be easy. With 3,000 meter for men.
Oh, that was just broken.
Yeah.
Jerry Motsawa.
Where is? I'm gonna mention this one. Who owns or who holds the 5 kilometer road record?
That's tough, man. I'm guessing that's also an old record. I don't know. Matthews Tumaini.
Incorrect. The answer you're looking for there is Shedrick Hoff. Wow.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
You know Shedrick well. You wrote about him recently.
Yeah, he wasn't too happy with
He's not happy with you.
Now he's going to be even less happy.
How many people are happy with you already with about them, Wes?
Not many.
Not many.
Yeah.
All right, 5,000 meter on the track. Make it simple for you. This one you will know.
The 5,000 meter record on the track is held. Is this the men's record?
Yeah, we still at men.
Elroy Gallant.
Well done, Elroy Gallant. Right. Oh, let me just add this one in for bonus. Men's 10,000 meter record.
Hendrik Ramada.
Correct. That's very solid. I think you got 5 out of 6 there. Now let's move to the women. Ooh, this is gonna be tricky. Oh, is it? I don't know. 1,000 meter record for women.
Caster Semenya.
Correct. Vuvuzela goes
That was
wild.
a good one.
Woo. All right, 1,500 meter for women.
Same person.
Correct.
That's a man, yeah.
And then who holds the mile record? Ooh.
Did you give that away?
I didn't do anything.
Is it Zola?
Yeah, correct.
People cheering, woo, Wesley Botton. Well done.
Get up, Wesley. Okay, I'm gonna
Cheer
move
for you
on.
on social media.
Let's make it a bit harder. 3,000 meter for women. Get down.
Oh, I know this. Ilona Mayer holds that.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
5,000 meter and 10,000 meter for women. Who holds it?
Same person, Ilona Mayer.
Correct. And with that, we wrap up the game, which is no record.
You did well. You did very well. That was on fire.
Well done, Wade.
Not bad. I think you threw me a few easy ones there.
Yeah. No, we have to keep it interactive. We don't want everybody out there looking at Matthews Msarati or Sydney Murray. You know, there's a lot of big dogs that let's keep it simple. Let's keep it interactive, Wesley. You can be the game next time. I know you're gonna kill us. We're gonna have to be reading through Google encyclopedias, newspaper clippings to get the answers. But yeah, well done. Big ups for that. Not the Rock.
Yeah, cool.
Not the Rock. Boom. Yeah. We are in studio. So yeah, guys, I think that wraps up the game. And it also wraps up the evening, unless if you guys want to add anything else.
No, I think that's all from me.
Wesley Botton.
No, this has been fun though, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for
cool.
being part of the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this has been our biggest viewership so far. See, just in terms of the reach.
Yeah, awesome.
I know consecutive viewers are a little bit different, but to be accurate, we're looking at around about 439 viewers. That's just on Facebook there.
Yeah.
9 viewers. That's pretty cool.
Thanks a
So
lot.
thanks, guys. Thanks for the support.
Yeah.
You know where to go.
Come on.
Every Friday,
Yeah.
we'll be on, and we'll probably be on a little bit more discussing the Olympic Games and predicting and keeping the hype up. But if you haven't yet, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, we're on Instagram, on all the social media platforms, www.backtrack.co.za. We will keep this real talk quite interactive and the topics sweaty. So we'll see you guys next week. Cheers, bud. See you next week as well.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Sayonara.
Sayonara.
See you guys.
To be back, yes, I'm let loose from the news that's kept me hanging about. I've been looking at the sky 'cause it's getting me high. Forget the hearse 'cause I'll never